Odote. So, Mr. Vincent Soa Odote and Dr. Nyaho Nyaho Tamaklo making a return to that space, and all of this will be subject to the approval of the AGM. So we'll be, keeping tabs on this, and we'll be bringing you up to speed. But of course, all of these individuals are persons of vast experience within their respective areas of endeavor, and this is something that we will be looking forward to and we'll be discussing in detail as we go along. The construction of a 20,000-seater a home stadium for Accra Hearts of Oak. Well, let's see how things go. The Holy Saturday edition of the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM with the president of Ghana Athletics. Join us and let's have this conversation together as we always do. As we bring you today's edition of the Joy Sports Link here on the show. And of course, this is the very last Joy Sports Link for the month of March. My month. Well, so let's boil down to the business now. In a few minutes, we'll just be doing a little run around these sets of illustrious individuals who have been proposed to reconstitute the board of Accra Hearts of Oak. We'll be talking about them very briefly, look at what has been told to us, in the past week as well regarding the focus of the new board once they're approved and they get down to work. Well, let's now have a conversation about athletics in Ghana. Mr. Bafusaini, thank you so much for making the time. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Nat.
And congratulations to you and your team for the work done so far and what was done during the African Games as well.
Thank you very much. It's really refreshing to be on your platform. It's the greatest platform you can get at the weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Everybody listen to the program.
Thank you very much. See, there were mixed expectations, because we always have an annual conversation, the will is there, the resources are not there, and we're always resorting to different means to get our athletes in shape and all of that. And then midway through, we also noticed that there was going to be a stiff Ghana-Nigeria rivalry on the track switch and on other disciplines as well, on the field, which was just being repeated because we've seen such rivalries, pan out in the past. For you, on the whole, how would you describe Ghana's showing in track and field at the recently ended African Games?
Thank you very much. That's a bit of no, Ghana show as the hosts and Ghana show as the participants. Yeah, because we hosted it and we also participated in the games. In both areas, I will give Ghana A+. In terms of performance, Ghana performed very, very creditably. Looking at the period, looking at our athletes just coming out from the indoors, and what they did was just incredible. I had initially had a number of medals that we're looking for, And even though we didn't get
What was the projection before?
No. The projection that we project to have 7 gold medals.
Okay.
Yes, and I can run you through those events. You could see where we're coming from. We had 100% hope that we're going to win the 4x100. We're 100% sure, no, 80% sure that we're going to win the 100 meters. We're going to win the 200. We're going to win high jump, both male and female. We're going to do well in the 4x4x4. We're going to also win the long jump.
I see.
Yes, and we're going to also have a medal in the long distance, either the 10,000 or the half marathon. So that was the projection. And we could see what actually happened. Though that we didn't get the medal, we just missed the medal just by an inch.
By a whisker.
Yes. So that was the projection that we went into the competition. And looking at it, technically, we actually achieved that. But physically, having the medals that we were not able to get, looking at the 4x100, we just missed it just by a little error that occurred. That was why we didn't get the 4x100. And in the 100 meters, just yesterday I was discussing that with as a Matthews coach. We're going through the event, what actually transpired, and Azamati was not able to make it. But in all, the performance was just top notch. Even not only the Ghanaian athletes. If you look at the caliber of athletes that came, maybe we didn't put the spotlight on the world champions that were here. The girl who won the 800 meters was the world champion athlete. The 3,000 steeplechases, the top 3 runners in the world were here. The 400 meters, the Nigerian has been in the Olympic Games several times, and he missed the Olympic qualifying by 0.6 seconds. The Olympic qualifier is 45 flat, and he did 45.06. That was even running headwind.
I see.
Yes. Toby Amusa was there. Esim Broom of Nigeria was there. We had top world-class athletes participating. Yes, participating in the competition. So if you look at the report from the CAA said it's one of the competition that it's the best competition Africa has ever had in the last 2 decades. And they've ranked it just like an Olympic, just like Olympic Games. They've ranked it as A-style competition. When it's A category, is Olympic Games, World Championships, and European Championships. And this competition is ranked A category. All the points that the athletes gotten can be used for Olympic qualification. And that what glanced my heart is that the association single-handedly was able to make this games, athletics competition of this game as Olympic qualifier.
I see.
Yes, it was, and so many people believe that we couldn't have done that.
No, but for the regular person on the street, the conversation will be that, look, in terms of the geopolitics of the world, Africa should always be major. Africa is a very big continent, and when it comes to our participation in all of these kinds of international sporting events, we should be major. And the platforms that we create and the competitive platforms that we create should be certifying or platforms for certification, so that when somebody participates in the African Games and makes a certain mark, it should be recognized as such, and it should be,
Yes, it should.
But it's not that simple.
It's not that simple. It has to go through a lot of processes. Both the facility they are going to use, both the equipment that you are going to use, even the official that you are going to use, all counts to making one competition and a world accepted or world qualifiers. In our case, because we insisted that with the support from the LOC, with the support from the ministry, that we needed an excellent running surface. That was the first hurdle that we cleared. And the LOC supported us to have the Mundo, not only Mundo, but we had to have a Mundo with blue color. And the Mundo has got 3 specs, and this one is the A spec.
Is the A spec.
The A spec.
So the track at the University of Ghana Stadium is the A
best
spec Mundo track.
Mundo track is the best. It's the best you can get in the world.
Muftau, this obviously is.
And we've got only 3 of those tracks in Africa.
In Africa.
Botswana, Kenya,
and Ghana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. we'll be coming to that part of the conversation, because you see, we've been going on and on about infrastructure, and now it is finally here with us. It had to take the 13th African Games to get us here. Now there's a big conversation for what we should do going forward, but that will come up later on here on the show. If you're just joining us, we're here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. The president of Ghana Athletics, Bawaf Husseini, is here with me in the studio. My name is Nathaniel Attoh. I'm also here with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi, and we're having various conversations around how we can make the mark and make sure that we have as much representation as possible, especially in the area of track and field athletics. Last week we brought in the boxers, the national boxing team. Their head coach was here. One of the gold medalists was also here, and the conversation was about the final Olympic qualifier, which will be held in Thailand, and how we have to show. So there's still a lot more work to be done, but we'll be coming back to that conversation in a bit. But Muftau, there's something I want us to touch on very briefly before we go. I mentioned a set of names who make up the proposed new board of Accra Hearts of Oak. And I mean, there are loads and loads of expectations. There have been various conversations about them. But of course, these are highly achieved individuals who bring a wealth of experience to the table for this job.
And I think that this is a point where Accra House of Folk supporters. At this point, we can say that these are recommended names that the AGM will now have to accept. But if you go to the list of people that the club has decided to put on their board for the next few years, I think that is there are people who have achieved so much in their various sectors. Someone like Akwesi Agyemang, that I've come to know so well in the football space. I never actually thought he was a football person until the game-changing team brought him as part of the Black Stars Management Committee. And if you speak to people who are close to the national team, they will tell that he's quite an instrumental person. And Togbe Afede has always been there, one man who has always been committed to restructuring Accra House of Folk. Many people would say that since he took over the club as a majority shareholder, somewhere 2008, 2009, the kind of expectations they had, they've not quite met them. But sometimes you need to build a structure, and that the structure that will lay the foundation for you to look for the success you are seeking for. And I think that what Accra House of Folk is doing in Pobiman is massive. I'm not too sure there's any club in this country apart from the academies like Right to Dream and Wafa that has been able to put up such infrastructure for the development of football in their country. So Togbe Afede has always been one man who is willing to invest in the club. Then there's Dr. Nyahonya Otamaklo, someone I spoke to recently. He's been in the club for more than 50 years. He knows the ins and outs of the club. In fact, he was telling me how he was, in the olden days, the money he was going to use to buy tilapia ended up using it to put players together to go and play a match against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. That's how much these people really like Accra House of Oak, and they are willing to invest. I think that their success will be dependent on the kind of support that they are going to get from the people around the club, the supporters especially. I've always said one thing. If you go to the market and you want to buy something, and you realize that there are so many flies around that thing you want to buy, you walk away. So the House of Folk supporters, if they throw so much negativity surrounding the club, then they will never be able to attract the corporate world to support the club to be able to achieve the success they are looking out for. This is the time for them to give the board their support and ensure that they are able to succeed. If they continue to throw so much negativity, so much, and every single day they want to go out there and demonstrate and tell people that Togbe must listen, Vincent Ozoto must get out of the club, Nyahota Maklo is not needed in the club. These things put people away, and this is the time I would admonish that the supporters of Accra House of Folk throw their weight behind the leadership of the club to bring the success and the glory they are all seeking for.
Well, yeah, so all of it boils down to the infrastructure conversation as well. And Mr. Vincent Suaudote has chipped the top a little bit for us, says that the focus is going to be that 20,000 seater stadium in Pobiman.
And it is going to be a massive thing, considering the fact that in recent time Hasafolk is not able to pull so many numbers to the Accra Sports Stadium, and also as and when the National Sports Authority one day will tell you that we are closing down the stadium for other events. If you have your own stadium, not sure anyone would come in there and tell you that, my friend, get out, we want to use it for ABC, because just gone by December, the Accra Sports Stadium was closed to football and activities for the whole month, and this means that Hasafolk needed to take some of their matches to Kumasi and some of their matches to Sokakope to play some of their league matches. And if they are able to put out a 20,000 capacity stadium, it's even big, because during the AFCON, some of the venues were 20,000. So what it clearly means is that they can even put up a facility that will meet CAF requirements to be able to host international competitions. It's a massive thing for them to be able to do. And I believe that with that infrastructure behind Accra Hasafolk, then success will just be close to their reach, and they'll be able to do massive things. Yeah.
Well, interesting stuff there. We are eagerly awaiting, and we also must commend Toby Apeda and the rest of the team for what they've done in terms of infrastructure.
I've been to their commercial center.
Yeah.
I've been to the secretariat where they are currently working on.
And
massive.
It's,
Pobiman. You go to Pobiman.
I was there, Bawa. I was there when the old structure was pulled down. It shares a wall.
In fact, you sent me those videos.
Yes.
You sent me those videos to do the story, and I did the story.
Yeah.
So clearly, Hasafolk has a vision. It is about whether the vision they have will be able to translate into on-pitch results. Because I recall so well when they won the Ghana League title under Samuel Boadu, and the kind of support the club had. Togo Afeda said one thing, that if we hadn't won on the pitch, the kind of glory that we are getting off the pitch, we wouldn't have had it. So the work being done off the pitch should be able to translate on the pitch, because supporters are always interested in what's happening on the pitch. If you lose matches, they will develop a certain level of apathy towards the team. But if you win matches, they will definitely come. In fact, they will even forget that you are putting massive things behind them. And many people would always tell you that when you win, the joy is such that you will forget about your problems momentarily. So I just hope that some of the things they are doing behind the scenes in terms of putting up infrastructure would translate into on-pitch results, so that the supporters will throw their weight behind this team. This is a team that when you speak to people, right? I remember having a conversation with a Congolese who was telling me about the Accra Hasafolk of old. And anytime they talk about Kotoko and Hasafolk, they're always looking at those two teams to have been teams that actually set the tone for football in the continent, for other clubs to follow. And it's been quite unfortunate that in recent time they're lagging behind, and it is only the on-pitch results that will be able to translate and bring back joy to their supporters. And that is the most important thing that they need to focus on. One
step at a time, they say. You're still here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. The show will be more on the conversation around Accra Hasafolk. But obviously, we're bringing all of these in because of the infrastructure element, because infrastructure has played a very big role in the rollout of the African Games. And we're just, laughing about something off air, myself and Bawa, that, it had to take the African Games for us to get this, this very rare, running track and this training facility and all the other satellite facilities that we see in Boteman. So then it's a very big blessing indeed, isn't it?
Very, very big blessing. Now, as we're discussing behind off stage, I said I didn't know because of this African Games we would not have gotten a quarter of what we have now, and that is a blessing for Ghana sports in general, not only athletics, because the infrastructure that we have gotten now, I do expect in the next 5 to 10 years, Ghana sports should be top of Africa, not only athletics.
Explain that to me.
For instance, we have this excellent running surface. One, we have very good electronic system. Two, we are able to train 110 certified, qualified officials. in Ghana.
110?
10, yes. We trained 110 for the last 3 months. And all of them have passed. All of them have been given certification. That's why they were able to officiate at that level in that competition.
I see.
Even the CAA never thought that Ghana could officiate at that level.
CAA is Confederation of African Athletics. Very well.
They were so excited that Ghana were able to produce that kind of officiating officials. And we started this since last 2 years. Mufta, you remember the last time?
I was there.
Yes.
I was there.
So 2 years preparing for this going for the last 2 years. Because we knew that this competition is going to be very big. And if we are not prepared, we will not sit down for the shame to come to Athletics and to come to Ghana. And Ghana has a very big name outside there. So we started preparing not only our athletes, but the officials part of it. That was very crucial. That even made it possible for us to argue that these games has to be an Olympic qualifying. Indeed, it was. Given all these things, if we are going to bid for any other African championship or West African championship, it's going to be like this. After the competition, the technical director of Confederation of African Athletics, Aziz, and Lamine Fati is my good friend from Senegal. He's the CEO of CAA. Say, Bawa, thumbs up. We want to come here 2016. Bid for the African Championship 2016.
You mean 2026?
2026.
Okay.
Bid for African Championship.
That's 2 years from now.
2 years from now. We will help you to organize another.
Charlie, Muftau, you have work to do. We are appointing you as the...
In fact, Bar has already given me so much job.
Just yesterday.
Yeah.
Just yesterday, the Region 2 have taken the competition from Benin and given it to Ghana.
Great.
So we will have West African Senior Championship in Accra in January, in June. I still have to write to the minister to seek his concern about that. But now the request that Ghana should do this, Ghana should do that, Ghana should hold this coming day in, day out. If we have not gotten this kind of facility and equipment, I don't think anybody at all would have asked Ghana to host the competitions. And I'm very sure it will go. It's not only athletics. Other disciplines will also get that kind of support from the Confederation. When we finished triathlon too, the World Secretary General of Triathlon was here. He walked to me and told me, Bawa, I understand you are moving towards athletics. I said, yes. I said, you can't do that for triathlon. Look at what you have done with triathlon. We need you to organize more competition. Then I told him that, look, we have our water bodies in our coasts are not so good. So do something about that. And that, no, they've already done a lot of research along our coast. They said you can do it in Cape Coast. You can do it in Takoradi. The Takoradi water and Cape Coast water are much cleaner than Accra water. So why do you want to always be in Accra? With this facility that you have, look, the ministry and the LOC have bought 4 outboard motors, 6 kayak, crash barriers and cones. They're giving us 200 yards of blue carpet for triathlon on the road. They said, no, you cannot allow this thing to waste. Please give me an email. Let's talk. We'll help you to organize African Championship in triathlon next year.
Great.
Yeah. So this equipment and facility is bringing so much glory to Ghana. But the question that I normally ask myself, how do we maintain and sustain this kind of programs? How do we keep this facility to the next 5-10 years so that we're able to have the fuller benefit or the fuller use of these facilities? That comes with a lot of sacrifice, with a lot of funding. If we are not able to keep it well, if you are not able to store it well, if you are not able to use it to the purpose that it was purchased for us, then we cannot blame the government or the ministry or the LOC, but we have to blame ourselves. And in athletics, we are working seriously with the University of Ghana, with Dr. Bello, how to utilize the equipment at the University of Ghana Stadium. We did a meeting last week and we did inventory. We are still doing the inventory to know exactly the equipment that we have after the competition, so that we have a very good storage at the University of Ghana, so that both the university and the Athletic Association can use the equipment effectively. But what I can add is that we need to also water the tracks maybe twice or thrice in a week. We need to water the tracks. We need to able
Can
to
you
keep it.
can you repeat that? I want this to be repeated.
No,
And,
we need the tracks
yes.
need to be watered.
And Muftau,
Twice-
let's
twice in a week.
Muftau, let's immediately after this show ensure that this is edited. We'll play this on all our social media platforms.
And we'll have an online story as well.
Exactly.
Yes, we need.
Let us
we
water
need,
the tracks.
at least twice in a week.
Yo.
Because if you don't water the tracks, it become dried and become whittled, and it gets rusted within no time. It is not only football grass that we water. Sometimes I went to Tamale about a couple of years ago. I was telling the Tamale director that we need to water the tracks, but they didn't understand why we should water running surface. Look at how scorchy the weather is. Now I'm going to see the tracks in Tamale.
But if a director, I mean, and this is where I sometimes get very, very infuriated. So if a director of sports of a whole region as crucial as the northern region doesn't understand or have the understanding of how to maintain a running track, they don't deserve to be there.
I mean, it's sometimes if when you mention watering track, people so why do you water tracks? We need to water it. My first running that I did outside Ghana was in Thailand when I was a student. I got there Thailand in the morning in the stadium. The running surface was wet, so I didn't understand. So I asked the guy, so no, this has to be watered every day. So in Thailand, they water their tracks every single day. Before you come in the morning, it looks as if it rains, and it keeps the running surface
Fresh.
in the very good condition and fresh, and it can last as long as to 10 years or 15 years. But if you don't do that, within 3-4 years, you see it cracking.
I see.
Yes. So we must. This one day, I will have to discuss it with University Authority and the ministry that the tracks at Legon Stadium must be watered at least 3 times in a week for us to keep its quality and its standard to the next 10 years.
Well, we're here, and I know there are loads and loads of people who want to contribute. Remember that ahead of time, before we activate the phone lines, you could just get through to us on 055 11 11997. 055 11 11997. Get through to us. Let's have this conversation together. I know that you also have massive thoughts. Some of them are very technical, like Mr. Baf Hussein is giving us. Some of them are from the followers and fans' point of view, which also are very crucial in moving this conversation forward. All right, so talk about that. It just brings to the fore a very important element of one thing that we're talking about here, which is ensuring, which is the responsibility that we have now assumed by constructing all of this infrastructure, that we need to, first of all, keep them active and keep them well.
Well, yes. Maintain them very, very well.
And not just a quick one. Keeping them active will be the basis to maintain these facilities. The more we organize competitions, the more we are forced to put them in a right structure for them to host those competitions. So, for instance, if you create a maintenance manual for the University of Ghana Stadium, both the warm-up track and the main track itself for the competition, that maintenance manual must contain that these tracks must be watered at least 3 times every week. And for the University of Ghana to also ensure that they are watered every 3 times every week, then they must feel the need to get them watered, because if there's no competition coming up, people would relax. But if there's the West Africa competition coming up, like Bao mentioned, then the University of Ghana will need to put it in the right structure or the right state for it to be able to host the event. So keeping the facilities very active will be key for us keeping them in the right state to be used for the next 10 years. Other than that, if they become dormant, then we do not have facilities. Nothing.
Well, in a bit, we'll be welcoming a man of how would I describe him? It's difficult now. A man who has joined a big league, and this was achieved when the African Games were active. He is one of the gold medalists, and I'll be introducing him very shortly. He'll be joining us very shortly here on the show as well. And he's one of the people who had to do the podium and hear the national anthem play. You know, it's very important to hear a national anthem play at games such as these, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's the greatest honor an athlete can get during such a big competition. Yes, because if you win, that's where the whole world will see you. That's where the whole world will see your national flag and they'll play the national anthem. I saw a Nigerian weeping. I know that guy. He has been in the competition, several competitions. He has never won the competition.
Wow!
And this time around, he won when he was on the podium.
Wow!
I saw him sharing tears.
Yeah.
And that was tears of
to
joy.
have your national anthem played for you. I mean, I have had the privilege of experiencing that quite a number of times, and it's something else. I mean, it's something else.
It is the greatest honor an athlete can
and for that matter, any other individual. You know, yeah.
No, it's a very proud moment for another person in sports. But not this competition, as I indicated earlier, has been rated as category A, just like the Olympic Games, just like the World Championships. Ghana, we cannot lower the standard anymore.
Great.
Once we have achieved or we have attained that standard, we should be able to maintain or even improve upon it. And that will also involve the association, involve the ministry, involve the NSA, for us to maintain whatever we have achieved in terms of hosts, in terms of participation. In terms of participation, we even need to do more for our athletes to be able to go to the Paris Olympic Games. That is very crucial. Some people were asking me why our athlete didn't qualify. I said, no, we have a window up to 30th June 2024 to qualify it. And this competition was just one of many competitions that our athletes can participate to qualify. So we have the African Championship in Cameroon, we have the Pen Relays, we have the Bahamas Relays, we have the West African Championship. All these competitions are part of the Olympic qualification to Paris. What happened during the African Games here in Accra was that even though we didn't have performance qualification, but their performance has been ranked. I saw people getting points up to 1,100 and 1,200 points per event. In any case, if they are not able to qualify by performance, they can still qualify by rankings. Now, to qualify for Olympic Games is two ways, either by performance or by rankings. And our athletes are very well ranked after this competition. And we are not going to rely on rankings. We want them to qualify by performance. And at the end of next month, the team will go to Pen Relays for male 4x100, female 4x100, and if possible, male 4x4. The Pen Relays will propel them to Bahamas World Relays. And the Bahamas World Relays is where the magic is going to happen. Because if you attend the Bahamas World Relays, the first 14 ranked countries in any of the relays are automatically qualified for Olympic Games. So getting to finals at Bahamas is a must. Ghana must get to the finals. As soon as we get to the finals, we will be at the Olympics. And now we will now come to the individuals. With our projection and with the kind of performance that athletes are putting up right now, we are going to have more than 3 individuals qualifying for the Olympic Games in the sprint. And if that happens, then we are forced, or we will compelled to organize national championship for our athletes. Because if more than 3 of them qualify for 100 meters, and we are only allowed to enter 3, and maybe there are 5 or 6, now we have 7 of them who are running very well and who are potential qualifiers. If all these 7 athletes qualify for Olympic Games, which one are we going to enter and which one are we not going to enter? And the only way we can have the best 3 is to bring them to Accra here, let them have our national championship, and we'll let them run. We'll pick the first 3, regardless of the time. Just like what the US and the Jamaicans and the British are doing. in the US or in Jamaica, in a year or in a season, they could have more than 10 100 meters athletes who have qualified for the Olympic Games. What they normally do is that they will call all of them to the national championship, let them run, and they just pick the first three. Ghana, we are getting closer to that level. And this year, our 100 meters athletes are going to qualify it. There are going to be more than 3 qualifiers. And
more than 3?
More than 3 qualifiers. I can have Joseph Paul Amoah, Azamati, James Dazi, Boshu, Hussein, Solomon Hammond, Joe Menu. There are about 7 of them who are doing very well. And we hope all of them we are going to do sub 10. And if they do sub 10, that's the qualification. Qualification is 10 flat. If they do sub 10, and we can only enter 3 of them in the 100 meters. And we cannot also just unilaterally choose this one to go, this one not to go. The only way we can have them is to bring them to Ghana in fairness, let them line up in at the Accra Sports Stadium, Lagos Sports Stadium, let them run. They will pick the first 3. That is what we are planning to do, and we have already submitted our documents to the ministry for planning and for budgeting purposes. When that will happen, and I know by the end of May, we should have those qualifications by end of May, and the national championship will be organized in Accra, so that these athletes will sort themselves out. Because if you have, just imagine we have more than 5 athletes qualifying for Olympic Games, and we are only allowed as a member federation of World Athletics to enter only 3. Which one are we choosing? Which one are we leaving out? The best way to do that is just to bring them to Accra, let them come and line up and run, then we'll pick the first 3.
Well, one man who came to Accra and saw and conquered is one name that we sure are very accustomed to, especially in the recent years. And he was part of the victorious 4x100 meters team that conquered all in the Rabat, African Games. And of course, I just love the way he navigated the bend in the 200 meters men's final. Who am I talking about? The one and only Joseph Paul Amoah, who we all love to refer to as Joe Paul. Ladies, there's no lady in the studio. Gentlemen. The gold medal winning Joseph Paul Amoah. Joe Paul, Charlie, good to see you, and we can't say congratulations enough. Congratulations once again for that feat. You're the man. You're the man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Great. Look, it must. I'm sure you're resting from all of that very intensive activity. But I want you to tell us, your thought processes, as you were there on that starter and you were just waiting for the starting gun. Tell me what was running through your mind. I mean, from the point of view of the fans and the journalists, I mean, everybody was tensed. I mean, from a Ghanaian perspective, everybody was staring at your jersey. Everybody was, looking at you because you were the point of hope. What was running through your mind?
It was just that moment where I felt like I'm home now. This competition is being hosted on my home track. From day one, every time I did an interview, I said I want to go. I want to do it round by round. As the race comes, I take it as the race comes. So making it to the finals was that last step where it's like, okay, right now you're here. You have to get on the podium. And I don't just want to get on the podium. I want to get on the highest point of the podium. So I just knew that doing it in front of the home fans would be the best moment. And it was just something that I wanted to do to, take away that I'll say that the sadness that happened when we didn't get the gold. I know silver is okay, but I know Ghanaians want the gold. So I was like, hey, if we couldn't get the gold in a relay, I might as well just do it in the 200 finals for them. So everything that was going in my mind was just win. I wasn't going to accept anything less gold, yeah.
Joe Paul, tell me something. They always say that the fans also play a role, and embarking on these kinds of endeavors before your home fans or on home soil has something to do with it as well. In your case, Did it have anything to do with it, even though you had set your sight on the highest point of the podium?
100%. Like, I knew there was going to be pressure. There's going to be pressure, but you have to. It's either you let the pressure break you, or you make the pressure make you great. So, running in front of home fans, I definitely knew there was going to be pressure. So I just wanted to make sure I used the energy that the crowd gave me in every race that I run. Like, coming up the bend is like, I could just feel that energy, because if a Ghanaian is not in front, you wouldn't really hear anything. If you are in front and people are chasing you, you're going to be hearing something like, hey, hurry up, they're coming, hurry up, they're coming. I just wanted to make sure I use that energy to boost myself in every race, be it heat, semifinals, finals, wherever. So it was just a matter of making sure that I make the pressure make me great rather than letting it break me on the track.
Well, there is something that has been festering over the years. I mean, this is an age-long thing. It's older than I am, which is the Ghana-Nigeria sporting rivalry, and it was brought back in a very big way by you guys and your counterparts from Nigeria. I mean, tell me about it. I mean, these guys had beaten you, like you said, very sadly in the 100 by 4, and now here you were, with revenge on your mind, was it?
Well, in terms of like going into the 200 or coming into the 4x1?
Yeah, in the 200, yes.
Yeah, going into the 200, honestly, I didn't know who was in the race other than my teammate.
I see.
Until I got to the track. Like, after my semifinals, I didn't know who made it to the finals. I just knew I was going into the finals with Hussaini. So when we got there, when we were warming up, I think one of the coaches said, "Oh, there are 2 Nigerians." I was like, "Oh, wow," because I didn't know anybody in the finals, because I just wasn't looking for it. So when I heard there were Nigerians in there, I was like, "Oh, yeah, they gonna get what they asked for," because I know they wanted to support the party in any way they could, like be a relay, 100 meters, 200. So they had already spoiled the party in the relay. So I was like, "Hey, no, we can't allow this twice." So I just had to go out there and do what I do. Yeah.
Wow. After all of this, I'm sure that you've gotten like loads and loads of plaudits. I mean, you've been congratulated very massively. Tell me about that bit as well. Enjoying the moment and enjoying the glory of having achieved this very big feat.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be so much, love coming from different angles. Seeing my family over there was like, one of the biggest things for me, because the last time I ran, the last time my family watched me run, I can't even remember. So like doing that in front of them, and then I had my best friends there, my high school classmates, and teammates, so it was like I could feel the love, coming from different angles, be it before the race, during the race, after the race. It was just amazing. So I don't even realize, like, every time I finished the race, there was this section of the stands that I was pointing to, because I knew where my family was sitting the whole time.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, I knew where they were the whole time. So, and they were like there for the heat, semifinals, even the relays and all that. So I just really appreciate the love from my family, my friends, and even you journalists. It was just, I was getting messages from all angles. I remember getting a message from you, George, and fans and all the other guys. It was just love from all angles, and I truly appreciate it. You guys did like great.
Lovely stuff there. We've been having a conversation about moving on from here, and obviously the big focus now is the Olympic Games. We want to see you there. We want you to perform as well. For you, what's the plan going forward? I mean, further into the season, your president has been outlining the plan. I mean, to potentially have a justifier and a qualifier here, because now we have the standard infrastructure, and the,
Uh-huh.
the approved infrastructure. Personally, what is your plan as well?
So I know I train really hard, like really, really train hard. So I know, with my hard work and God pushing us, I know for sure I'm gonna make the individual event. But I always want to make competitions with the relay as well. So, while I was focusing on my actual event, I want to make sure that um I'll do whatever I can, whenever I'm put on the relay to you know power us home. So, qualifying for the individual is on my mind, and also the relay. I wish I could do it on the home tracks. Unfortunately, it's like all my races where I ran into a headwind in all my races. So, I wasn't really like, if the time came, I'll be happy, but I wasn't really expecting any big time from this competition, because even the finals was like minus 2.8, semifinals was like minus 2.2. I don't remember the heats, but like almost all my races were into a headwind. So, um, I'm sure moving forward, that's something that they're gonna try to fix. So I'm not even worried about that. But we still have more competitions to run. So I'm gonna get back to practice and then make sure that every competition counts. Like, even if I don't run the time, I'm gonna make sure I get some points. But the main goal is to try to run that time, to qualify me for the individual event, be it 100 or 200. I'll be running some hundreds as well, so it would be great if I make both of them.
Where is the intrinsic energy coming from between now and when you hit the tracks for all of these competitions? What is it that just keeps firing you up and giving you that individual psychological boost?
I think it's a love for the nation, honestly. I think the love for the nation is just what motivates me. Like, I always want to make sure that I do it for Ghana, um, whilst doing it for myself as well. So, I think the love for the nation is what boosts me intrinsically to keep pushing hard for Ghana every time I step on the track wearing our colors. So, hey, I just urge everyone that puts on the colors of Ghana to also um, get some energy from inside them.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Well, so if you're just joining us, you probably may have missed quite a bit, but don't worry. You can always go for a replay on YouTube. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, bringing you another Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM. And of course, in my company are the president of Ghana Athletics, Mr. Barf Husseini, and also the gold medal winning Joe Paul. Yes, now you have to prefix this with the gold medal winning Joe Paul, the African champion, gold medal winning Joe Paul from the 200 meters event, Joseph Paul Amwa, who's also a key member of our sprint team as well, Ghana's sprint team, outlining his plan for the rest of the season and how he looks forward to making it eventually to the Olympic Games. Yes.
I'm not sure any Ghanaian has ever won the 200 at African Games. Mukhtar, can you remember that? No. Look at this, the first time. This is the first time Ghana has won. So Joe, you've made a medal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, that is a history.
In fact, I was actually going to say, because if you talk about medals, we'll have to go back to 51 years ago. Was it Karikari?
Yes, Ohini Karikari.
Ohini Karikari, yes.
51 years ago. So I sometimes I look at Joe Paul. I remember when I was speaking to him, I was looking at a man. So the first African to make Commonwealth Games podium since 2006, after this Mauritius athlete, was it Stephen Buckland?
Yes.
Did it in 2006. First Ghanaian to make a podium in the 200 meters in Commonwealth Games in 48 years.
48 years, yes.
And first Ghanaian in like 51 years. Joe Paul, hey, you're a big man. Joe Paul, you're a big man.
Yeah, you don't talk about, the look, the aesthetic feel. Ohini Karikari in recent years had this very well kept beard, goatee that they call it.
Yeah.
And those of us who schooled in Cape Coast just adore him so much. What happened was that in our intercollegiate athletics competitions and our super zonals, he is the one who does the starting gun for all the big final events. You know, Ohini Karikari, the legend,
okay.
comes to stand, and and
Wow.
Joe Paul is also growing his very nicely. I think he's in the formula. So yeah. So anybody who, aside your hard training and your talent, I think you also need to keep a bit of hair on your face. I think maybe it'll help out in a way. Well, that's just by the way. Just joining us. We're still here on the Joy Sports League. Send in your messages. We'll be glad to have them. Remember, it's +233 5555. Sorry, +233 55 1111997. So 055 1111997. In a bit, we'll also activate the phone line so that those of you who were unable to send text messages can join us and articulate your thoughts as well as we have this this very big conversation on athletics and how we can get the job fully done here. Yeah.
Joe, I just want to share a word. Joe is such a humble athlete that I really pray that Joe should continue to be the team leader for the next 10 years. He has been able to hold the team together. Even when there are issues within the team, you call Joe and you talk to Joe. Joe, Mr. Oh, okay, we'll work towards it. And he always makes sure that the team is glued together. When you get such a leader, you expect more from him. You expect more good results from him. When they didn't have the gold medal, and when I saw him, as soon as he finished the race, you could see the disappointment in his face. But quickly, he didn't want that thing to affect the other team members.
I see.
Yes, he quickly ran up the athletes and let them took some few pictures. And later, when I spoke to him, he said, well, let's look forward and see what was ahead of us. This one is gone. Let's look at what is ahead of us. And this was not the first time. Even when we had the biggest issue during the Commonwealth Games, it was the same issue. Joe stood up and spoke to his colleagues, and he came back and won the medal again. So this kind of athlete that we are looking up to lead the young ones. And I urge other young athletes to look up to him, what he has been able to achieve, even though any time at all he's achieving a milestone, achievement, something happened before that. It is only one athlete who can overcome that. Because everybody, even including the minister, everybody was standing up to see that Ghana win 4x100. And Ghana didn't win 4x100. But yet, this guy came back strongly and beat the whole African to it. If you watch the 200 meters, after the first bend, he led the Nigerian and the Cameroonian push to catch up with him.
Yeah.
If he was not that experienced athlete, he would have frozen. We have frozen and they will come and pass him. But he maintained his composure. No matter how the pressure that the Cameroonians and the Nigerians were putting on him, he didn't mind them. He was just running his own race. That was how he won it. So if an athlete who is not experienced as Joe Paul, he will have panic. And once you panic, you get stiff. And when you get stiff, you lost the race. But with that experience, Joe, I will applaud you. I will always stand by you. I will always stand by you. The kind of leadership that you are exhibiting, the kind of seriousness you are exhibiting, the kind of love you have for the country, we will always be together. And you have to lead the team to the Paris Olympic Games. We will go to Bahamas, we will go to pen relays, we will go to African Championship. And I know with your leadership, you will be able to lead these athletes to have more than 3 qualifiers, and we'll come back to Accra for another final showdown before the Paris Olympics.
Great stuff.
For sure. Thank you so much. That's a powerful word. I truly appreciate it. Mr. Ball, thank you so much.
Sometimes they will tell us that, journalists, we are supposed to look at the critical issues. But having been one of the few people to have interacted with Joe, I've always gotten the sense that he's like the bond that brings these groups of athletes together. And I remember speaking to him at the Legon Stadium after he won the 200 meters gold, and he told me that he and Azar would ensure that this team stays together. This team does not allow their shoulders to drop. And sometimes it's quite rare to have an individual who does not look at himself but look at the general interest of the team. And I've always said that Joe Paul is that figure who brings everyone together. And sometimes when you speak to him, you will not get a sense that he's the man who glues them together. But when you speak to his colleagues too, they'll tell you, if Joe Paul is there, then we are good to go. And Bauer has just nailed it right there, that he's that guy who glues this team together. I spoke about how he and Azar have been so inspirational in recent times for the young next generation of athletes. And what he was telling me is that, yes, when Azar broke that 100 meters record and he also broke the 200 meters record, that was when people began to pay attention to what they are doing. And as trailblazers, you need to lead by example. And it's exactly what Joe Paul and his colleagues are doing. And I, like I said, Bauer know their challenges more than myself. I also speak to them often, and I know what some of the challenges are. But they always allow these challenges to go under the carpet whilst they rise above those challenges to do great stuff. And Joe Paul, you've been a wonderful, wonderful athlete. Actually, you are.
Well, so Joe, let's give a message to the fans, the Ghanaians, many of those who were able to join you there at the stadium, those who watched from a distance, and those who now are having very big expectations of even bigger performances based on what they've seen you do. What will be the message for them as we wrap up your bit of the conversation?
I'll first like to thank them for the incredible support that they gave us. It was surreal. Like, coming out of the call room, my first race was a relay, the heats. When I came out of the call room, I remember looking at one of the guys and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Because I knew people were going to be there, but seeing that kind of crowd was just insane. So now we know that, I mean, we kind of had an idea that Ghanaians really love athletics since the relay started, going off. But looking at it myself, coming to experience it myself was something different. So I'd like to thank all Ghanaians, those who came to the stadium to watch, those who watched from home. We could feel that energy throughout every race, heats, semifinals, finals, and we feel like that energy helped us in every stride that we took to achieve the greatness that we've achieved. So I'll say a big thank you to them on behalf of my teammates and the whole team. We truly appreciate it, and we know that moving forward, for sure, hopefully we get some more races in Ghana now that we have a certified track, and whenever we come here to run, we'll make sure that we don't disappoint. Yeah, the relay was a one-time thing. I don't think we're gonna repeat that again. Not on Ghana trucks, yeah.
Obviously, very well. Joe Paul, thank you so much. And my autograph on my Ghana shirt, that one is for later on. Yeah, we'll do that later on.
For sure.
Joe Paul, thank you so much. It's been very having you here on the show. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
And happy Easter.
Thank you.
Very well. Joseph Paul Amwa won gold in the men's 200 meters final of the African Games, just joining us for this conversation here, and is the lead for the sprint team as well. Let's get on the phone line now and have a contribution from the CEO of Primeval Media. Primeval Media, a sports marketing and marketing communications firm who have various franchises that they work on. They've syndicated sponsorships for big teams, including the senior national football team, the Black Stars. And, the CEO, Larry Attoh, has also collaborated with Joy Sports on many fronts. Today, he's got thoughts on this subject that we're discussing. Larry, Chief Larry, thank you so much for your time, and it's good to have you here on the show.
Thank you very much, my brother. How are you doing? Hello to the guys in the
Chief
studio.
Larry, is the Chief Larry that I know or different Chief Larry?
No, Bawa. Please stay in your lane. No, stay in your lane. Yeah, stay in your lane. The truth is that you are the reason why I decided to contribute. Because you were hating on your athletics. And I'm very so excited about how you pushing the cause for athletics.
Yes,
but the question I want to, in the first place, let me say congratulations to first of all the government for making sure that the 13th African Games, with all the challenges that we have, we are able to come through the LOC, the challenges at the end of the day, led by Dr. Koko Tusasai. You have the rest, Dr. Uswansa, and the rest, Seki, Kwame Banyakwa. I mean, everybody worked very hard. The Honorable Minister, of course, making sure that we're able to host this competition. But you see, not two things that I want to raise. Athletics was very good. And you see, when it comes to games, either the Olympic Games, the Asia Games, Commonwealth Games, African Games, I mean, the focus definitely will always be on athletics. So no wonder Bauer is very heavy on athletics and is pushing the athletics agenda and all of that. But trust me, have you asked yourself why is it that the Legon Stadium, we played only either a game or two games? Have you asked yourself? There is something that we need to do about the pitch. Because CAF did not certify our pitch. CAF didn't. So we have to rely on Accra Sports Stadium. Moving forward, I believe that we need to do something about that pitch. And not you together with Muftau, everybody. We have to pray and push the government, push everybody so that we are able to do the Boteman 50,000 Olympic Stadium. If we have the Boteman, we are able to put Accra Sports Stadium in good shape, the Legon Stadium in good shape. Just like Bauer is saying that, look, International Federation, when it comes to athletics and the other disciplines, because of the facilities that we have, they want to bring international competitions here the same way that we'll have a lot of competitions when it comes to football. Look, I keep saying that there are a lot of foreign clubs who would love to come to Ghana and have their pre-season. But one, we don't have the facilities. Legon, for instance, look at Legon. There is a very good hospital, the University of Ghana Medical Hospital. You look at Accra Sports Stadium. From Accra Sports Stadium to Ridge is not far. Yeah. Even from Boteman to Legon Hospital is not far. So let's put these facilities in good shape and market them. Recently, Ghana had to go and play Nigeria and Uganda in Morocco. Why? Because Morocco, they have the facilities. So they are able to host some of these competitions. And it generates revenue. It opens the country up. My final message, which I've been preaching this, not I've been saying, and Bauer, I want to find out from you. I mean, if you look at the medals that we won, the things that we did, and all of that, how come that in the architecture of the Botema, we don't have a sports museum? How come we don't have a sports museum? If you have a sports museum, are we saying that it is not going to attract people with a kind of achievement? In 10 years' time, in 5 years' time, our kids, there should be something that we can show to them that this is what we did. It shouldn't just be on television. But if we have a museum, it will be big. It will be very huge. If you have a museum where you have maybe Professor Azuma Nelson, can you just imagine the trophies that we won during the Nations Cup, the World Cup that we participated in and all of that. We have pictures, we have all of that museum. One Saturday, you take a family, you take them to Boteman Stadium, and just for them to go and have a fun. Not 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Saturday, I wish we had bought him up. It wasn't a competition, it was an event. You saw families with their kids having fun. And it is doable. But we don't look at these things. We don't take these things into consideration. There is nowhere that you go, no serious sporting country that you will go that you will not find a sports museum. And with what we've achieved, with the likes of Azuma Nelson, Aikoti, Bauer himself, the Leo Masmos, and the rest, and the current generation, come on. We have to do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chief Larry Attoh is CEO of Primeval Media. They are into sports marketing and marketing communications as well.
I overheard somebody talking to the minister on something like this.
Yeah.
But I don't know how far they've gone, but I know the ministry is doing something with that regards. Larry is a very good point about the Hall of Fame, because if we do not do it now, 10, 15, 20 years to come, nobody will know what happens today. That's the only thing that we can have, so that our children will come one day. You know, oh, there was one man called Joseph Paul Amwa who has won 200 meters in Accra. This is where he won it. So this is very important. We'll pick it up. I will even speak to the new Director General of NSA to see what. But I know the ministry is working on something like that. But I don't know how far they've gone. But I know something is in the pipeline with that regard.
Well, and talk about that. Would want to once again honor the memory of the late Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, who is a former Minister for Youth and Sports.
Yeah.
He passed on some weeks ago. And this is one of the things that he also had wanted to push through. But as the story would have it, politically and all of that, he couldn't have the longevity at the ministry at the time when he was appointed to probably get this done or get this through. So we're still on it. Let me do this message. This first one is coming from Inko Joseph. He says, I totally agree with Muftao that keeping them active is the best way to maintain the facilities. My hero of the moment is Honorable Minister Mustafa Usif and his special aide Jamal. They actually worked very hard to see the success of the African Games. Thanks to multimedia for the in-depth coverage as well. Thank you very much, Inko Joseph, for that message. All right, let's do some of these messages. Let's go to that very first one on the screen. And this one is from Babs in Abelinkpi. Good afternoon, Nat. I have a question for Mr. Barr. Would it have been a threat to Ghana if South African sprinters had participated? Can we we learned that most of them were in the World Championship. Okay, Mr. Barr, please go ahead.
No, there would not have been any challenge, because in terms of the relays or in terms of high jump, we always beat them. So you can talk about Van Dijk in the 400 meters, and that would have been between them.
Yeah,
between
with
them,
Van Dijk.
with Van Dijk. So their participation could not.
Yeah.
For 400 meters, so they could not have been a threat to it. Even though they also have their relay championship just at the time that we have the African Games. They had put 3 relays. They wanted Ghana to come to participate in that relay, but we told them that no, we can't leave our games and come to participate in your relays. So they will not have been a major threat to Ghana.
Very well. There's this message from Amma in La, and she says, well done to Joseph Paul Amma for making Ghana proud. Does he have any social media page where his fans like me can reach out to him? Okay, would relay that question to Joe Paul so that he can answer, and that we can put it out so his fans can follow Joseph Paul Amma and his official handles on social media.
He's
all right,
active.
Very well. This one is from Abena Speed in Asufan. Good afternoon, Sports Link. Good afternoon, Abena. The maintenance of our facilities is important to me, not only Legon, but Botiman. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'm also looking at the social development element where you have a very prominent community as a shaman next to it. Okay. Now, when when you're looking at our ecosystem and our space, you can mention names like Abraham Attoh, the actor. I mean, he came into the system, or he had his break as a child actor. Now he's a young adult, and he managed to put Ghana on the map because of that opportunity that he had on the silver screens, starring in Beast of No Nation, that movie that also had Idris Elba. And then you can talk about the international musical act Stonebwoy. Stonebwoy is one of the biggest exports that Ghana has across board, and nobody can debate me on this one. We all do know the figures are there for all of us to see. And I'm just sitting back and looking at the geographical location of Botiman. Botiman, shares a boundary with Ashaiman. And it will be interesting if we're able to conduct a study and see how much impact the placing of that facility can have on that community if the immersion is done properly and the community engagement is done properly. Because look, there are so many young people in that community who are channeling their energies into other things, which can be turned around and can become a platinum mine for Ghana in sport.
Looking at where Botema is situated, for me, it's very strategic.
Very well.
In between the two dominant cities, Accra, Tema, or Ashaiman.
Very well.
And the place, initially when you go there, you think it is in the bush. But go there and see, or give it 2-3 years. The stadium, the facility alone would drive people to the place. And people from Ashaiman can come and use the facility. People from Tema can come use the facility. People from even Adenta, Ashaleboche, all
well.
can have access. So it's very strategic. And within the next 2 years, not if you go there, you not recognize the place again. It's very strategic. I'm just praying and hoping that the university that they intend building there should be something that the government should pursue seriously, so that we can have the place as a sports excellence center. So we have accommodation there, we have all the facility there. We can even camp our national teams there. Both athletics and any other discipline want to come there, we can camp them, and we can even commercialize the area. Because the swimming pool they have there is excellent swimming pool. And maintaining swimming pool is not an easy thing to do. And if they don't commercialize the swimming pool, I don't know how they're going to maintain it, because it's very expensive to maintain swimming pool. If they commercialize it and they make revenue out of it, they should be able to maintain it. And the swimming association can also use it for international competition, because it is well standard and it's satisfied by FIBA.
So that then means that now we're supposed to have 2 swimming pools that are certified by World Aquatics, which is the Bukom International Pool and the one at Botiman, which is now the National Aquatic Center. That's what they call it, right?
National Aquatic Center. Yes. And sometimes we also borrowed it for triathlon. That's what we use for triathlon. And I must thank the swimming president and Farida. They played a very, very pivotal role in seeing to it that we use the swimming pool with all the equipment, with all the facilities within the pool that they made, even including the PA system and their podium and their branding. We use everything for the triathlon. And Madam Delphina and Madam Farida, we thank you very much for your support. And we shouldn't forget about 2 athletes that perform very, very well. William Amponsa, the 10,000 athletes, and he won silver in the half marathon. I think he's the first Ghanaian to have achieved that feat. And his record, Uganda records, had just been rectified by the World Athletics. Today I just opened my email, and his record, the 10,000 meter records, had been accepted and it has been rectified. It left with our executive board to formalize and announce that his time at the 10,000 meters was a national record. And he has also made a name for himself, beating all these Ethiopians and Kenyans in the half marathon. In the half marathon. So, William Amponsa, we are looking forward to seeing much of your performance. And the high jumper, Cadman Evans, I was expecting him to do good, but not to this extent. He misses the national record just by 1 inch. The national record is 2.24, and he did 2.23. And I hope by next championship that he will represent Ghana at the African Championship in Douala, Cameroon, he will break the national record. The national record stood in the name of Ivan Ubapo. He is now living in Canada. He made the record in 1996, and the record still stands. And I'm very hoping that Evans or Cadman will break the records come June in Yaoundé.
Wow, interesting stuff there. 055-1111-997 is for our WhatsApp line. And now you can reach us with your thoughts as well at 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Call us, and I know you've got thoughts to share with us. Now, let me just quickly share with you Joseph Paul Amwa's page. Joseph Paul Amwa's page on Instagram. So it's jp.amwa. jp.amwa. And that is okay. So let's do it again. Joseph Paul Amwa. It's jp.amwa. It has a blue tick, obviously. So I mean, when you see it, you'd see, and you see all those wonderful pictures of him performing at the African Games. So to our texter who was requesting to follow him on social media, there you go. It's jp.amwa on Instagram. Thank you so much. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. We were talking about some specifics as well regarding the specific equipment that I used for the various athletics events. Now, you have been prescribing how they should be managed and kept. I think we should talk about that as well.
Yes. It's very important how to maintain the facilities, because if you don't use the facility to raise revenue, and how are you going to maintain it? How are you going to keep it? And it cannot be allowed to follow. If you follow it, get rusted. So we need to use it, and the federation themselves, using it by themselves, cannot get enough money to maintain it. So they need to commercialize some of those facilities, so they can raise revenue to able to maintain this to maintain that facility. To use it for social things, that is going to be another topic for discussion.
Yeah. So before you continue, let me just read the message. Nat, please tell Bauer and his team to resist any attempts by revelers to use the Boteman Sports the facilities for social parties, events, weddings, and stuff. Dabida. This is from Godfred. Godfred, thank you very much for that message. Mr. Bauer will respond to that message very shortly, but let me just get our first caller through. Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the Joy Sports Link.
Good afternoon, Matt. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you for asking. I'm great.
Yeah, I think the result of the recent African Games, the achievement of Ghana has been very well. But my concern is about the timing. Now, why can't we cast our net wide to capture a lot of athletes so that they can compete for Ghana? Is that about the facility? Is that about sponsorship? Because I think as our football is going down, though it will rise up quickly, but I think we need to encourage young guys from our secondary schools to also compete so that internationally we can win more awards. That's my take on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Join us with your thoughts. So we were making the point about the usage of sports facilities for, non-sports endeavor.
No, I don't support that, because if you don't use it for the purpose in which it was installed, and then you'll be abusing the facility. It has to be used for sporting activities, and it has to be commercialized so that we'll get revenue to able to maintain it. If not, then the government has to give maintenance allowance or maintenance funding for the facilities, and I'm not sure government can do all those things at the same time. Again, still fund the federation to travel, still fund money for the federation to be able to keep the or to maintain the facility. The facilities should be able to raise funding for itself, so that government can continue to support the federation to go for international competition and to organize more international competition within and outside Ghana. But to use it for any other purposes, no, I'm not sure it will be an ideal things to do.
Okay, well, let's get on the phone line again and have this conversation with our next caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, I'm happy to be on the show too. Greetings to Mr. Bauer. I want to find out whether he's the one in the police or the OIC.
I'm the one at the National Sports Authority.
Okay, so I'm working with his twin brother, and he's also the sports officer. We're expecting that the police, they will install him as the sports officer, but they haven't done that. So I still emphasize that once this sports thing has finished, they should still go back to the secondary schools and get the best athletes.
Very well. Very well.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. No.
Now, and she's raised a very important point, which I guess we'll be wrapping the show up on, and that will be school sports and how Ghana Athletics is probably collaborating on different legs with the education service and the education ministry to get this done, because in the advanced world that is how it's done. Sport is routed through education. Let's get our next caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi. Hey, there's a feedback from me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, Nad. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please tell us your name and where you're reaching us from.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, sure. I'm Nana. I'm from Adina.
Okay, please go ahead. And can you please articulate a little more? Yeah.
All right, sure. Is it better?
Yes, thanks.
All right. So I'm listening. Wait. First off. Please, the man in the studio, he said he's from the NSA, National Sports Authority.
Yes, the president of Ghana Athletics. Yes.
Oh, okay. Please, have you paid our people? Are you responsible for some of? Have you paid our people, please?
When you say our people,
I mean the athletes, those who won gold, whatever promised them, has it been paid yet?
Okay, all right.
Before I go on my submission, I need to know.
No, if it's a payment, all the allowances were being paid. They are paid them. Everybody,
they are paid.
Yeah, everybody have been paid.
So they don't owe anybody, and our baby girls too. All of them have been paid.
No,
they don't owe anybody. Then case closed. Please, I'm listening to my CEO, the one you spoke on the phone, and he made mention about having these museums. You see, we should have had that right now. It shouldn't be a discussion now in this kind of world that we are in right now. And you see, I'm listening to, and I'm also scared because I'm in Ghana and I know what happens in Ghana. You see, putting up the facility is it's one thing, and managing the facility for it to attract what the people we have to attract and make money out of it is also another thing. Unfortunately, when it comes to Ghana, we don't have a good record with that. Some of these facilities will end up causing financial loss to the state. It will be there, it will rot, and you have to put more money in there again to try and revamp it, and it will rot again. So two things. I'm scared. Yes, we need it. Long overdue. But when we get it, then what happens? It's the same thing goes to these facilities that we are so much proud of right now. I'm just sitting back and I'm saying, well, let's wait and see what happens. Because we are in Ghana. And when it comes to record of that, yes, we know we don't have it. So what is the way forward? People should be held accountable. We need that too. So that happens. Some of these facilities that we are talking about, it's nobody's money. It's my money, it's your money, it's everybody's money. So if somebody is paying some good sums of money as salary to maintain these facilities and they are not doing their job, we shouldn't just go for, you say, private partnership. Good. We shouldn't just go for private partnership and these people will still be there and taking salaries. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
then it will be like paying double for a job to be done. So, for example, multimedia
have an internal person who is supposed to perform a certain task, and the person is not doing it, and Constitution says, I've brought in a private person to come and handle that, and that person will still be there be taking salary. Do you think it will happen? But unfortunately, that's what we are doing with our state when it comes to the state. People who are there are managed to perform a task. They don't do it. We bring in private people to do that, and those people are still there taking salaries. For what? You understand?
Yes.
So where does accountability come in? Who is checking who? From top to bottom, who is checking who to make sure that what has to be done is done? Or these positions are just there to be occupied. When a political person comes to power, the position has to be occupied. So they put their people there. And then what? Is that all there is to it?
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for the thoughts. Okay, so that wraps up the phone-in segment. Now would leave the final words to you. We're talking about, we've gone on and on about the maintenance element. You've also given your solutions and your ideas. But now this mix with the educational system and how GAA is, the Ghana Athletics is collaborating with, the relevant bodies.
Yeah, it's very, very important for the Ghana Athletics and the Ghana Education Service to collaborate to develop, especially school sports, because athletics goes with education. Athletics goes with education, and we already have some level of discussion with the Ghana Education Service through the Director General of Ghana Education and Mr. Aye, the National PU Coordinator, for us to do the NISAC, the National Invitational Student Sports Championship in Accra here, which some reasons we couldn't have it before the African Games. Now we are prepared to have it either in May or June. We are waiting for the Ghana Education Service to give us the date. We don't want to come out with a date. We want them to give us their date. And I've spoken to Mr. Aye before the African Games, and he promised to speak to the Director General for his advice on the date. I'm not able to reach him for the past 1 week, but I'll try and see him on Monday or Tuesday for us to have the final date for the NISAC. It's very, very important that we do that. It's very important that we collaborate with the Ghana Education Service. We have to work together to get this thing done. Us alone, we can't do school sports. They alone too, they cannot do complete athletics in this country. So the only way we can't work together is to collaborate, and that is what we stick to do. And we also have CTTV, who is helping to raise funding for us. So I'm just waiting for next week to speak to Mr. Aye so that we get the date fixed. We've already given out monies for the preparations. We've given 57 schools money preparation grants for them to prepare for this championship. But it was unfortunate it didn't come before the African Games. So we still have to come out, because if we do not do that, we can't go back to the sponsors and say, you've given us money to be given to students to prepare, yet the competition didn't come on. So how are we going to explain to the sponsors that we can't just give money and give it to schools and you don't do the program? It will be irresponsible. So we have no other option than to do the NISAC, the schools championship in Accra here. I know our partners are waiting. As soon as we get the date from the Ghana Education Service through Mr. Aye, we will come out with the full blast of the program so that we'll have it. It's very important. We had the idea of doing it just like the US or the Jamaican style, so that the student will have two types of competition in a year. They are normal interregionals, which bring regional teams together at the national level. This one there, we are doing it based on schools. And the next year one, we'll use the best schools in each region to come and do the national championship. So that in a year, every year, the school system will have two national programs instead of one national program. And the funding will not be a problem. So I'm just urging the Director General of Ghana Education Service and Mr. Aye, if we can get the date as quickly as possible, we can proceed with the program. I know a lot of students are urging to come and compete. Last year they couldn't compete, so this year we have to give them enough competition for them to be able to come out with a very good program. But not before I can end this program without thanking the sector minister, Honorable Yusuf. He has been one of the hard-working ministers and listening ministers I've worked with in recent times. And with this success at the African Games, I can only wish that Ghana, and I urge with that God should continue to guide him. God continue to protect him, for him to continue to direct the sporting development in this country. He has taken two very most critical decisions before the African Games. One was to appoint the CDM, which was very, very critical. Second was to ask the federation to step in and do the organization by themselves. He also promised that whoever incurred any debt during that period of organization, he was going to repay the money. And I know some head of federation have already received their payment, and I've also submitted my my invoices. Perhaps.
So, Honorable Minister, Mr. Boaf Husseini's, please let's let's fast forward or fast track. As they
he had done so well. It came to a time that most people didn't believe that the African Games will happen. There were a lot of people who had some doubt, but now that the doubts have turned out to be a positive thing due to his perseverance. He's always on the ground. He was moving here and there. Every time you call him, he was on. He picks a call. If he doesn't pick the call, he'll call you back. And if you have a program that invite him, he will come. No, Minister, I can only say thank you for your support, and thank you, and God will continue to bless you.
Thank you too. We're grateful to Mr. Boaf Husseini, President of Ghana Athletics, for making the time with us. And of course, Joseph Paul Amwa, who is the current champion for the 200 meters event, having won gold at the African Games. We'll be back next weekend with another Joy Sports Link. We'd like to say thank you to all of you for being here with us. And once again, we'd like to salute His Excellency the President of the Republic on his 80th milestone. God bless him. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Also, a few more happy birthdays. Michael Otieje of Media General. Michael Otieje, he's GM in charge of digital at Media General. Happy birthday to him. And of course, George Attoh Jr. celebrating his birthday as well. Yeah. The Chief Director of the Ministry.
The Chief Director of the Ministry of Transport, Mr. William Kate. Thank you too for your support. He's a very wonderful, calm guy.
He's calm like me.
Yeah. He's a very strong person. Chief Director, I greet you and I salute you too.
Thank you so much. So we'll be back next week, and Denisia Puma AJ is up with Joy Headline News at 2. So you stay well and have a wonderful time. Thanks to the whole Joy Sports team with my lead producer.